Will the Vikings' new additions come up big this year? And some high expectations for our ceiling this year. We'll get to it. Welcome back to Vikes Vibes. This is DJ. Uh, Vikes Vibes. It is the place for all things Vikings. Man, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Support on Cash App, Vikes Vibes, Cash App. Wherever you get your podcast, go follow it. Social media, but please subscribe and hit the notification bell on YouTube, Vikes Vibes. And yeah, so today we're talking about the new starters for the Vikings here in 2024. Um, as some think that the Vikings offseason was horrible for some reason, like ESPN, there was an article that came out that someone from ESPN said that the Vikings offseason was just complete crap, and what I don't know how anyone that knows anything about football can think that. I mean, the Vikings took this offseason to do basically a kind of like a competitive rebuild, saying goodbye to Kirk Cousins and Danielle Hunter, and then drafting JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner as replacements. So it's looking like there will be maybe possibly 7 new starters for this team this year. Um, so starting off with Blake Cashman, he will be replacing Jordan Hicks. Now, this might be tricky. I mean, I feel like Cashman and Ivan Pace Jr. will both get some good time. We definitely got some depth there. Um, Cashman was the third defender that Kwesi added this offseason after his teammate Jonathan Grenard. They were both in Houston, and then Andrew Van Ginkel. This move is that it's a homecoming for Cashman, as it's from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, so he's basically coming back home. So that's nice. Some may think, he's on deck to start, and that may be the case, but I'm going to tell you this right now. My last video, it was all about Ivan Pace Jr., and that we're not just going to let Ivan Pace Jr. sit on the bench. So, um, while we have some good depth on this team, um, it's going to be it might be tricky to try to get all of our playmakers out on the field. So, and then second, quarterback Sam Darnold replacing Kirk Cousins. We all know that. He has already been named the starter week 1 by KOC, um, being basically a bridge quarterback for JJ McCarthy. Sam Darnold's performance, it might determine how long he stays at the helm, and you know it could kind of push KOC's hands, handing the keys to the offense over to the rookie. But there's always a chance that the former number 3 overall balls out and does awesome this year. A lot of people are saying that he has a lot of untapped potential, and that they feel like he will thrive in this offense. And I mean, I have mixed emotions, just because of the simple fact that you look at Sam Darnold's career so far, and it hasn't been very good. So you you take that into consideration, and you take what you've already seen, the only thing you've seen from the guy, and you just can't piece together him succeeding. It's kind of like a believe it when you see it kind of thing, and we haven't seen it. So that's where the Sam Darnold thing, it gets to me, and it just I I think sometimes I think that he's gonna do really good here just because of our coaching staff and the pieces around him and everything like that. But there's also something in the back of my mind saying, "Hey, I mean, we haven't really seen much from him, so why would it be any different here?" But you know, uh, I guess we shall see starting September 8th, week one against the New York Giants. So, number three on the list, Jonathan Grenard. He replaces Daniil Hunter, just like his Houston teammate Cashman. Uh, they, Grenard, they both had breakout seasons in 2023. So much that Kwesi went out and got them. Um, Grenard has some huge shoes to fill as replacing Daniil Hunter. And I mean, he is younger and he's a lot cheaper. That doesn't obviously that doesn't mean anything by just saying that. But no one can ever be Daniil Hunter. You know that guy is kind of everyone's every person, every player's uh their own player, own person. But Daniil Hunter was and is just a special type of player, and you can't really you're not gonna really come close to being exact what Daniil Hunter is and was for this team. But I do have a feeling that this guy will do good, Grenard, and you know all things aside, with me saying that I would be lying if I said I didn't have some doubts about it in the back of my mind, just because of the shoes to fill, from Daniil Hunter, and you know, but I'm hopeful, and I do know that Grenard had a breakout season in Houston, so hoping that continues here in Minnesota. Number four on the list, Shaquille Griffin, possibly replacing a Caleb Evans. Now this it could be a possible change. Griffin, he showed really good leadership this spring, and he is considered a front runner to start alongside of Byron Murphy Jr. Don't get me wrong, a Caleb Evans isn't bad. He just made too many mistakes last season that just causes concern. Um, if it was up to me, I would have. I mean, I guess I don't really know. I don't remember what we had for depth last year at that position. So, um, there's quite a bit of times where a Caleb Evans was pretty pissing me off, I guess. Um, I yeah, you asked Jaren about Caleb Evans, and he'll tell you his feelings about about him. Um, So we could see Shaquille Griffin in for Caleb Evans starting this year. And then number 5, Aaron Jones, running back, replacing Alexander Madison, who we said sayonara to. The Madison experiment last year was just absolutely horrifying. Like, man, last offseason, I kept saying that he was ready to start. He was ready to be, RB1, the bell cow, every down back. Well, I was obviously very, very wrong because it was horrendous. It just, no. Now, as a former cheesehead, Aaron Jones comes to the good side, and we could fix our running game finally. That's if Jones can stay healthy, knock on wood. Um, you know, as I've said in the past many times, Aaron Jones has burned us as a Packer many times. Now it's time he burns teams in the purple. I can't wait to see it. Number 6 on the list, Jerry Tillery, replacing Dean Lowry. This I don't know I don't really know how to feel about this change, but the Vikings opted to not really break the bank on a high end defensive tackle in the offseason, so they settled for the bargain basket here in Tillery, who he has another chance to prove he is a starter in the league. But who knows? He could shock us all and be a monster here, and obviously, I'm hoping for that. So only time will tell. We'll see and see how the season unfolds for this guy. And he's a Viking, so I'm wishing him the best. So, um, and then number 7, last but not least, Dallas Turner, replacing Marcus Davenport, who barely played last year. After basically everyone saying Dallas Turner was the best defensive player in the draft, he somehow fell to us at 17. I was and I am so pumped we got him. It I feel like we won the draft, basically getting JJ and Dallas Turner both, you know, in the first round and not having to give up our future. Like it, it was amazing. Um, I Unless something very unfortunate happens before the season, he should definitely start right off the bat and form a two-headed monster on defense with pass rushing partner Jonathan Grenard, who is also a new starter. Um, I just I really hope that duo forms and just takes off right away, and they're just that a two-headed monster. Um, so that man, that's it's gonna be interesting. I'm expecting big things from these new starters in 2024, and yeah. Speaking of expectations for 2024, Viking safety Cam Bynum has some huge ones for this team this year. I mean, if you ask any NFL player what his goal is, it's always going to be the same answer: a Super Bowl. Um, many aren't putting Minnesota in the contender category this year, but uh, Cam Bynum, he certainly is. He was asked on NFL Network what he sees as the Vikings ceiling this year, and this is what he said. He said, "I expect a Super Bowl. Everybody says that, and everybody should say that, but you look at the guys on the team, you look at the locker room, all the experience we have. Look how much depth we have, especially on the defense. So many guys, it's almost weird looking around. You're like, okay, how are we all gonna get out on the field? There's just so many ballers. Then you look at the offense, there's a baller at every position when you look across the whole board. That's why I'm confident when I say I expect us to be a Super Bowl team. But really, our preparation has to tell it all. Uh, you say that every year, every team says that every year, but we have to put all these names and everything, we have to make it real. Um, I mean, he does have a point that this team does have some very good depth. I mentioned it earlier. Um, and I know that this team this year is very capable of achieving a Super Bowl. But as a Vikings fan who knows the past, I'm I'm not ready. I'm not going to say I fully expect the Super Bowl this year. Even though I get let down every year, I'm not going to get my hopes up that high. Um, I'm just gonna. I like to. Well, my mentality as a fan every year, I always want to just take it week by week, just like a player does. But as a fan, it's very hard. Um, so, but I always think to myself, and I always am like, I am not gonna be so confident and be like, "Yeah, this is our year." I've been there, done that. I'm tired of getting let down, so I just took it down a few notches and still hope that we win the Super Bowl every year. Obviously, that any fan of any team is gonna want that, but realistically, from the past, and hopefully that changes, especially in my lifetime. But um, I just don't want to get my hopes up too high, and then you know what happens every single year, and it hurts worse. I don't exactly know how to explain it, but if any true Vikings fan, they know exactly what I'm saying. So, that's my spiel. That's all I got for this video. Go subscribe on YouTube, Vice Vibes. Go support the vibes on Cash App. Uh, audio and the video is on Spotify as well. So go check out the audio on all the podcast platforms, but for sure go subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to get notified of future videos, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya.